How are you doing? It's great to see you here. I'm going to take a few minutes and I am going to be sharing some links out so that folks will know that I am live here because I love to invite my friends to come and have coffee. So if you've got some friends that you think would enjoy a nice little coffee break while we chat and catch up with each other, please let them know. I'm kind of excited that we can do this. So definitely let them know. I'm going to copy this link, share it to my friends. So I hope you'll do the same and invite them to have coffee with us. So grab a mug, get comfortable. Let's take a break. If you're in the middle of your workday or wherever you are, grab a mug and let's chat. Okay. All right. So I am going to post this here. Make sure we invite all of our friends. How you guys doing this morning? If you are watching live, please be sure to pop in the comments and say good morning. Love getting to say hello and greet all of my friends. So let's see here. I'm going to, let's see here. There we go. Oh, how funny. It still has my text from when I went live on Friday. Good morning, Bear. How you doing? Good to see you, sweet girl. How's your morning going so far? Hey, by the way, loved that post about how to cut a cake properly. It's fantastic. Well, guys, how are we doing this morning? How's everybody feeling? How are things? Let's see, let me get this here started so we can. It's kind of funny how Facebook does. This is why I'm kind of I'm trying out some new things. So, what I'm doing is I am going live simultaneously, both on Facebook and YouTube. And it's kind of fun because it gives us a chance to have some coffee together. Oops, and my text for the video says that it's Happy Aloha Friday. So, oops on that. But that's okay. I can fix that. I can fix that. So, for right now, we're going to go live and just enjoy being here. So, if you're watching me on YouTube, or on Facebook, thanks for being here. It's really a pleasure to have you here. This is a little something that I've been doing on social media for quite a while now. And it's a little segment that I've called Coffee Talk with Ronee. And that's going to be changing a little bit because I'm totally revamping and doing some new things. So I'm really excited. So there'll be some name changes. There'll be some other changes coming, and I can't wait for you to see them. But the biggest thing is we're at day 99 of our own personal pandemic quarantine situation. And as of tomorrow, guys, I won't be able to use this little box because there's no more room. It only is 2 digits. So can't wait. Yeah, wasn't that cake cutting post amazing? It was really awesome. You're having a slow start to the morning, but doing okay. I know, and we are going on a family vacation um, this weekend, so I cannot wait to see my girl and hug her in person. Well, guys, thanks for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you here. If this is your first time to catch me here, welcome. I am so honored that you would take a few minutes of your time, especially if you're scrolling on social media and you just happen to see my post and wonder who is this woman with her coffee cup that says WTF on it, talking in the middle of the morning. Well, this is a little segment that I started about 6 years ago on social media where I just sat down and had a calm conversation with folks and shared some of my amazing mugs from my extensive coffee cup collection. So if you look closely on this mug, you'll see it says, "Where's the fiction?" Because we know in days like this, a lot of people WTF is a common letter acronym that I see posted a lot on social media. But this is my cup that celebrates my favorite local bookstore. And I hope you have a favorite local bookstore that you are supporting. But my favorite bookstore here in Dallas is in Terabang. And if you followed me for a while on social media, you know that in Terabang is one of my favorites, and also was a bookstore that was hit by the tornadoes that hit here in Dallas. Their store was literally ripped to shreds, but they started back 30 days after the tornado. They reopened at another location. And even with this coronavirus pandemic, they have maintained. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some great books that I've gotten from Interabang and talk about them. But yesterday, I got something really, really special that I want to share with you. So again, as I said, if this is your first time to catch me on this broadcast live, hello. My name is Ronnie Hardin. I'm an editor. I am a writer, and I'm a former educator. I taught high school honors and AP English literature studies and academic writing, and I love, love, love teaching people not only how to understand and analyze literature and really draw the nuggets out of it, but I love helping people craft their own words to tell their own stories. So I really enjoy that. How many mugs do I have in my collection? Well, that's a great question, Laura, because I know I feature them all the time. And not too long ago, I did a little poll. I did a question because my husband and I have been in the middle of a move during this pandemic. We moved into a new house. And so by getting all of my coffee cups together, I had to actually count them. I had never counted them before, just kept adding to them. So I have 180 coffee mugs. Yep, I have 180 coffee mugs. Many of them have come to me as gifts from friends. I've also collected them over the years from places where I've traveled, shows that I've been to, because whenever I've had opportunity to get a souvenir, I thought, you know, a coffee mug or a Christmas ornament. Those are my favorite types of souvenirs because you can use those every year. You can use them day to day. And so I love it because every mug in my collection has a story, has a reason why I have it. I can tell you where I got it or who gave it to me. And so every mug has a story. And so because it does, I'm able to enjoy my coffee in a real special way. Good morning, Tiffany. Good to see you. You are sipping coffee on your front porch. Well, I'm going to be doing some live broadcasting from my porches and backyard to show you some of the really cool places of our new house. So I'm really excited about that. Yes, the mug you sent that you sent me was mug 180. Yes, it was, Tiffany. I was so excited about that. And so again, whenever I use my mugs or feature my mugs on my broadcasts, there's a story and a person behind each one. And so I love that because, you know, when we go on trips, guys, you know how it is, and you go to get souvenirs, what do you get? T-shirts? Well, T-shirts wear out over the years, and how many T-shirts can you actually own and have, right? And a lot of people say the same things about my mugs, but I drink a lot of coffee. And especially when I get to have friends over and they get to have coffee with me, I love getting to feature all of my mugs. Good morning, Carol. So depending on where you're watching me from, you might be watching me on YouTube live. So for all my folks and friends who are watching me on my YouTube channel, thanks for that. I really appreciate it. I do enjoy getting to see people learn and see how my my live stream. So I'm checking that really quick. Yep, so the live stream is working well on YouTube. I'm really excited about doing that. I've been thinking about migrating off of Facebook for a while because of just all kinds of things that are happening. that are coming up. And so I've been trying out YouTube through this platform that I have, and it's really fun. You've ordered from Interrobang and encourage our friends to do the same. Well, thank you for that, Tiffany. I really appreciate that because, guys, we can never love on and support our local bookstores any more than we are now during this time. So yesterday, I got a package in the mail, and I was really excited because I thought, I wonder what this package could be. And so I got 2 packages actually. And you know me, on Tuesdays, I love sharing tips and books and things in sets of 2. So I'm gonna be doing that today. But I got a package in the mail. And this was, I was so excited to get this because now I have my Interrobang shirt, No Challenge Too Mighty. Now, if you look at the shirt, you realize it's a long sleeve. But that's how long ago I had ordered it because it was cooler weather when I initially ordered this. But you know, when the store had their, had the tornado and things happen, oh my goodness, trying to get the shirts. So now I have my Interrobang shirt, No Challenge Too Mighty. They rose from the ashes of the tornado and are still going strong. So if you would like to support a great bookstore, I highly encourage you to look up and support Interrobang Books. You can go to www.interrobang.com and you can check out their stuff. You can order from them, and doing so helps support the rebuilding and the sustainability of our independent and local bookstores. Oh, I know, it's so much fun. So another thing I got yesterday in my package that I was very excited about, you guys remember that I talked about this book a while back, but it is the book called What Makes a Marriage Last. 40 celebrated couples share with us the secrets to a happy life by Marlo Thomas and Phil Donahue. Well, I was able to participate in a live event thanks to Interrobang with Marlo Thomas and Phil Donahue. It was amazing to see them. I mean, guys, they are in their mid-80s and yet still going strong and sharing such great information with us. Well, yesterday, when I got my book, I was really excited about this. Guys, I have an autographed copy of the book by Marlo Thomas and Phil. And look at Phil's handwriting. Isn't that amazing? I mean, look at how I do my letter D's like that, right? And Marlo's M. So I am so excited to have an autographed copy of my book. I love that. I have a whole collection on my bookshelf of autographed copies. So, and guys, this is a great book. I mean, it's got such wonderful stories and great photos of the people that they interviewed for this book. There's Billy Joel and his wife. There is, I'm sorry, there's Gloria Estefan and her husband. There is, let's see here. Oh, Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. So many great pictures of Alan Alda and his wife. I've got to show you these. These are so great. Al Roker and his wife. Can you see these photos? Look at this. Isn't that amazing? Right. So these are all people that they interviewed in their book. All of the stories, right? Marlo Thomas, that girl. Well, you know, Carol, we're dating ourselves when we admit that we know that that's where we know Marlo Thomas from. A lot of people don't know who Marlo Thomas is. But I'm so excited to have a copy of this book. And also, today is a very special day for a very special friend of mine because today is her book birthday. She's launching her book today, and I'm so excited for her, and I'm equally proud of her. Ronnie Rock has written an amazing book called One Woman Can Change the World. This is a great book because it weaves together so many stories of great women who are changing the world right where they are. If you've ever felt like, well, I don't know that I'm making a big difference, or well, I'm just me in my little town in my house doing my stuff. And I don't know that I'm really doing anything. Or maybe you're asking yourself, what can I do to really impact and change my world? So many of us are looking for it on social media. We feel like if we're not posting on all the sites and we don't have over 10,000 followers, that we're not really doing anything to impact our communities. But let me just tell you, this book will change your mind about how much impact you can have in your own community. You've ordered it and you can't wait to read it. Right. Ronnie, I know. I'm so excited for her. So excited for her. So one woman can change the world. Today is her book birthday, and I just want to give a huge shout out and lots of love to Ronnie for writing this story, because we spent many, many hours talking about this. She has really labored hard to bring forth one of the most beautifully crafted books. And so I just cannot impress to you how important it is, and how honored I am that I was able to be a small part of the journey that Ronnie took in getting this book published. So make sure that you grab a copy of this. I'll be sharing links to all of these books right here in the comment thread. So yeah, definitely. You asked your library to order it, and they ordered 3. You can't wait. I am so glad. So yes, talk to your local bookstores, talk to your libraries, ask them to get a copy of this book. And I'm excited because somebody in this live broadcast in the comment thread is going to get a copy, because I have a copy to give away to you at the end of today. So everyone who comments in this live broadcast will be entered for a drawing for a copy of this book. So I'm very excited. Definitely a great, great, great book to just inspire you. The stories in here of all of the women, where they live, what they're doing, all of the people that you will meet, Miss Mary, Elizabeth, and Auntie. Miss Mary, though. So many great stories. And so I just can't wait. And hopefully, in the midst of her launch and everything, I'm hoping to snag Ronnie for an interview over her book. So, guys, make sure to get a copy. And if you comment in this thread, like I said, and you're watching, whether you're watching via live or via replay, at the end of today, you will be entered to win a copy of this book free from me. So that's what I love about sharing stories, helping people share their stories, helping people learn why it's important that we share our stories. And more importantly, how to educate the next generation so that they can tell their stories, share their talents with the world. So we've been discussing this week and this month pretty much the intricacies and the challenges facing us with schools having to reopen in the fall. There's been a lot of ideas batted around by the states of what they're going to try to do. There's a lot of apprehension by both parents and students as to what they're able to do when school starts back up. And a lot of teachers are having to face challenges they never thought they would have to face in having to deal with this pandemic situation. So what do we do and how can we change it? So yesterday I was talking a lot about the industrial model of education and why it doesn't really fit what we're doing. So I'm continuing our discussion out of this book today, Creative Schools, written by Sir Ken Robinson, who is an expert in creativity and innovation and education reform. This has been his platform for many, many years. And so I've been sharing some ideas, some concepts, and some novel thoughts out of his book to help challenge us to think outside of the box when it comes to how we can, ways that we can reform and change education. Because folks, not everybody can homeschool their children. Not everybody feels confident enough or capable enough. And I remember those days. I remember those days where I wasn't sure if what I was doing was really helping my children. But I can say that some 25 years later, I was blessed to be able to help my children not only learn, but equip them in ways where they could then go on into jobs and career paths that they wanted. And more importantly, to be flexible and adaptable with their skill set and encourage them in a lifelong journey of learning, because we're all learning. You and I are even still learning. So today we're going to talk about mechanisms and organisms, okay? Mechanisms and organisms. So in Ken Robinson's book, The Element, which I've shared with you before, this is his previous book that he did that I read many years ago that really sparked an interest not only in Mr. Robinson, but also in his approach and his way of looking at education. So if you want to get a book that needs to be on your bookshelf, it's really important, get this. It's not just for kids, but it's also about helping you find that element, that thing that drives your passion and creativity. So in that book, Ken Robinson highlighted a story of a man named Richard Gerver. He became the head teacher at Grange Primary School in Central England, and he helped create a place called Grangeton. Now, Grangeton is a model of a working town, and what he did is they did that within the school. So every job that was needed in the town was filled by students, okay? So through their work in the town, these students learned the core disciplines at a high level while also experiencing extraordinary degrees of engagement. There are places like that that you can go visit. For example, up in Detroit, there was a place called Greenfield Village that Henry Ford created. And when you go visit this place, it's like stepping back in time. And what Henry Ford did is he gathered together all of these iconic places. So he has the home of Daniel Webster. He has the home of George Washington Carver. He has the laboratory of Thomas Edison. These things were dismantled and they were reinstalled in this little town. When you go in, there are the cars that they're using are all old Ford Model Ts and trucks. The people that work there all dress in period costume, and they live and work in this place. Now, the reason initially why Henry Ford built it was to help the people who worked at Ford understand innovation and technology at a different level. He wanted his employees and his students to understand that. Well, people found out about it and they wanted to participate too. So now Greenfield Village is actually a place that you can go visit. I'm going to get a link here. In fact, I'm going to grab a link to Greenfield Village. I wasn't initially thinking of sharing it, but now that I've mentioned it, I want to show it to you because it ties into what Ken Robinson is talking about with education, why this is so important, and what I mean about mechanisms and organisms. So I'm going to share with you information because there's a Museum of American Innovation there that you can go see, but there's also Greenfield Village. So I'm going to share this link with you in the comment thread, and I'm also going to share the link so that you can actually see it online here. This is the link to Greenfield Village. And initially, this was an experiment that Henry Ford started that became really, really popular. And is now a park that you could go visit up in Dearborn, Michigan. All right, so I'm going to share the link here so you can see it. And here we go. So here is Greenfield Village. Well, what is Greenfield Village? Well, what it is again, you go back in time and you get to see Edison's Lab, that's what I was looking for, okay? And you go visit 7 historic districts. You get to see working farms, you get to see all of the shops, you get to pull glass with artisans who are making glass blown things. You get to watch an 1867 baseball game. All of the food that is done is was made and is sold back like it was in the 1800s. And so you get to go back in time. It's an extensive place. You'll have to look at, you have to click on the link and look at, because there's no way I can bring all of it up. But it's a place where you can visit. It's like a town that you get to visit. And in doing so, what Henry Ford did was help people understand the importance of innovation and technology. So when Mr. Gerver created Grangeton in England, what he did, the school had been underperforming for many years and student enrollment was failing. The school had a poor reputation and was generally in a precarious state. This is when many people started talking about going back to the basics. So the thought came to Richard's mind as well, but not in the same way. We think going back to the basics mean, let's go back to the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic. Let's go back to the basics of how we used to do school. But as we know, those old models don't fit anymore. So the basics he talked about were the biological gifts that we were born with, he said, that thrust us into the world as incredible learning organisms. We are born with all the skills, all the basics that we need. Everything that your child needs to succeed in life has already been woven into the fabric of who they are. When we were thinking about what to do about Grange, I was obsessed with whether or not we could find a way to harness that natural learning ability and understand what the system was doing to inhibit it. If we could work that out, we could create an unbelievable learning environment. So we said, let's look at how kids learn. Let's really spend some time observing the kids in our nursery and early years facilities and see how we can take forward what they're already doing. It's clear that our children had a natural predisposition to immerse themselves in role play and highly experiential learning. There was a lot of mimicking and powerful learning when they could taste, smell, and see stuff. Listen, if you have children and you've had toddlers, if you've ever worked with children under the age of 6, it's not about books and writing assignments. It's about playing and trying things and testing things and physically working with things and interaction with others, right? There was a lot of mimicking and powerful learning when they could taste, smell, and see stuff. This is what I call 3-dimensional learning. It was this desire to replicate these dynamic forms of learning in the less structured environment of preschools that sparked the creation of Grangeton. We created a town with TV and radio stations because there were role play environments that were cool for all of our kids, not just the preschoolers. If you're talking to preschool kids about looking after themselves, you build them a mocked up doctor's office and they would play doctor and nurse. We thought if we're going to get our kids to understand the power of literacy and language development, let's build them a television station and a radio station so that they could take those skills and play with them in a real context. 11-year-olds would find out as cool as 5-year-olds playing in a doctor's office. For us, everything then had to be about the richness of the experience and the context. So imagine, if you will, a little town. What are some of the jobs? You have a grocery store, a bank, a gas station, all the different kinds of places. And these are ways that we can introduce children to the types of jobs. I mean, we do that when we take them on field trips, right? We take them to the fire station. We take them to different places to show them how people work, how people operate. Well, in this school, they actually created a little town, a miniature town, that allowed the children to try out the jobs. The next thing was to appreciate the immense skills of the best early years practitioners who don't construct play environments and just to encourage play. Underlying the planning of those early year environments are clear objectives in skill development. I wanted to explore how we could take that role play based experience to develop teamwork, resilience, self confidence, and community responsibility. The results of the Grangetown transformation were clear at every level. The students who had been mostly listless about going to school became deeply engaged and enthusiastic. And the school's overall results improved far beyond all expectations. In a little more than 3 years, Grangetown went from being one of the lowest performing and less popular schools in the district to being on the top of every list. Our academic performance at Grange hit the top 5%. My kids and my staff worked harder than they would in a standard school, but there was no resentment because they could see that it was having real impact. The work levels were massive, but everyone was engaged in it 100%. So the transformation at Grangetown illustrates 3 core things that are at the heart of Ken Robinson's argument. The room for radical innovation, even within the educational system as it is. So we're not talking dismantling or defunding education. We're talking about working within the system to find ways to be creative and innovative as far as how we teach our children. The power of visionary leadership in affecting change, really allowing the teachers the creative freedom to teach in the way that, these people have spent years in college to get good at teaching and to love the subjects that they teach. Why do we tie their hands to a curriculum line and rules and regulations that only tie up their time to really effectively teach children? And more importantly, the need for principals and teachers to create the conditions in schools in which the children will flourish and give their best. So they did that. They did that. Now, in the last 30 years especially, there's been a growing movement to implement organic farming. How many of you are familiar with eating organically? We love that we want to eat healthy. Imagine teaching children how to farm. If you're raising a garden and you're doing that and you're involving your children in the process, you're teaching them how to create and garden and create food. Well, in organic farming, the emphasis is not primarily on the plants, but nurturing the soil as well. It differs from industrial farming, where the whole idea is just to mass produce as many crops as you can. They're spraying them with pesticides. We're trying to force the plants to grow faster because we have to hurry up and get all these crops. And the plants that we're getting are not holistically nutritious because they've not been given the time or the soil in which to really grow. Well, if you look at that in the sense of an educational practice, think of it. Organic agriculture covers a wide range of practices, but at its heart, there are 4 core principles. And I want you to think about this in terms of education. Health. The health of everything involved in the agricultural process, from the soil to the plants and animals to the entire planet, is equally critical, and any practice that compromises that health and well-being should be avoided. So what is the health of our educational system? What is the health of your local schools? And then we have ecology. Agricultural processes have to be consistent with ecological systems and cycles, and it is vital to sustain the balance and interdependence of living systems. Then we have fairness. Every party involved in the process, from the farmer to the workers to the consumer, they all must be treated equitably. And then care. Before they are used, the effects of any new technology or any technique on the living environment now or in the future have to be fully considered. So if you were to look at this in the model of education, what would those 4 principles look like? Well, education, he says, is really improved only when we understand that it too is a living system with living beings and that people thrive in certain conditions. Plants thrive in certain conditions and grow and yield their greatest fruit, greatest crop. Why can we not see this next generation as an equally important field? So if you think about it on a health level, organic education promotes the development and well-being of the whole student intellectually, physically, spiritually, and socially. The health of education. Then you have the ecology. Organic education recognizes the vital independence of all of these aspects of development within each student and the community as a whole. If those are not being taken care of, what are we producing? We're producing subpar students who are being cranked through a machine and spit out into the world and then heaped upon with great expectations to be great and do great and have a great job when they've really not been allowed to fulfill their greatest passions. Fairness. Organic education cultivates the individual talents and potential of all students, whatever their circumstances, and respects the roles and responsibilities of those who work with them. Our teachers are overtasked and burdened, and their hands are tied. And now coming into the fall season, what is going to be expected of our teachers? Are they going to be supported? And more importantly, are they going to be fairly compensated? Because as you and I both know, we learned very quickly how valuable our teachers are and how much they are taken for granted. And care, lastly. Organic education creates optimum conditions for students' development based on compassion, experience, and practical wisdom. So, imagine, if you will, if you think about it with organic farming and produce, and if you're like me, you love to eat healthy, you want to make sure that the food you put on your table and in your body is the best that you can find, and maybe you source out farms or local farmers in your community who spend the time to make sure that what they're selling to the public is the best. The soil has been nurtured to bring about the greatest crop. And guys, you know, when you eat food that is organic versus just mass produced, it's sweeter, it tastes better, it's fresher, and its nutrient content is higher than just mass produced food. So think of that in terms of our children and education. We don't want to just mass produce a bunch of people that are just cranked out of the system, right? So what does that look like, and what is the basic purpose of education? Well, we're going to be talking about that in the next couple of days, but I want to thank you for taking the time to just learn a little bit about why it's important that we really think about creative ways to help our schools, to help our educators, because guys, the challenge coming up for them in the fall is big. They need our help, they need our support, and more importantly, our kids need it, because otherwise they're going to continue falling through the cracks, or worse, have their creative gifts and talents stifled and silenced. And I, for one, don't want to be responsible for that. So, guys, let's do what we can to help our teachers, our educators. Let's support them, and also know that there are other options for your children. And I'm not talking just homeschooling. I'm talking other options available for you to be able to educate your children, because we are living in precarious times. We don't know what's coming up in the fall. And more importantly, our children need that consistency and that concentration on their education to impact them and to help them. So grab a copy of this book. We'll be talking more about this book this week. I've been very happy to share this with you. A lot of changes going to be happening here on my site, so I hope that you will join me here. Again, you can always contact me. Let me know how I can help you. If you have students who are struggling in their literature studies or in writing or in language arts, please let me know how I can help. That is one of my great passions. I love helping students learn and unlock the power of their words. And so I can do that. So definitely shoot me a message here. You can contact me on my website at ronaeharden.com / contact. And guys, I can't wait for you to help me out. If you can, go to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to share it here so you can join me. Whoops. There we go. Got it. So here you go. And here is the link to my YouTube channel. I hope that you will, oh, it's not letting me have all the letters on the screen. Darn it. Well, here we go. Let me shorten this. I'll shorten it this way so you can see the whole link. Let's do it this way. There we go. You can go to youtube.com / Ronae Harden. There you go. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. My content is going to be going live from there, and I can implement it in my website, which I'm very excited about. So a lot of change coming up this summer, guys. We've got a lot going on, but more importantly, I want to thank you for sharing a cup of coffee with me and giving a few moments of your time. I know we've gone a little bit long today, but I wanted to share all the great books and all the great things that people are doing, sharing their stories with the world. And you need to share yours as well. So guys, thanks so much for joining me here. I'll be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, and 8 a.m. Pacific time with another coffee break. I hope you'll be able to join me then. Until then, have a fantastic day. We'll be talking a little bit more about books, writing, and all things words, and definitely more coffee. Thanks a bunch, guys. I'll see you back here tomorrow.